Hello. One of my potential research plans involves the American Civil War. Immediately, when you're told the American Civil War, a plethora of topics immediately spring into your mind. Abraham Lincoln, Jefferson Davis as the leaders of their respective sides. As far as generals go, Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee, Ulysses S. Grant, George McClellan, countless others. The home front, where the Union has a decisive advantage in production and communication lines, whereas the Confederates are lacking in pretty much everything regarding the home front. However, there's a couple topics that are largely kind of not necessarily not looked at, but kind of under undervalued in terms of the Civil War. My research plan needs sources from these topics in order to complete the picture about the American Civil War. One of these topics has to do with kind of like the dichotomy within U.S. cities, where you have both Union and Confederate voices sometimes mixing in unexpected places. Take, for example, Mackenzie Roberts' book, Lincolnites and Rebels, A Divided Town in the American Civil War. This kind of looks at the dichotomy in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is a Confederate state. It's not even a border state such as Kentucky. It's actually in the Confederacy, but within Knoxville, Tennessee, and other places, but Knoxville is especially looked at in the source. There's a dichotomy of strong Union voices and the fact that within the Confederacy, kind of having this interesting contrast that Robert kind of takes a look at. Another interesting topic comes from Dan Blanton and Lauren Cook. In their book, They Fought Like Demons, Women Soldiers in the American Civil War. They look at women's role in the Civil War, not just as nurses and as helping in the full home front, but actually enlisting as soldiers, pretending to be men through altering their appearance, and actually fighting as soldiers and actually rising through the ranks. Oftentimes, through their research, these women are only found out if they would ever get hurt or killed, or if they happened to become pregnant. So it's a very interesting uh, topic that definitely must be looked at. The third and final topic that I would utilize strongly has to do with the weather and the climate during the Civil War. One of the more important aspects of any war, as every single takes place in varying different communities, especially the American Civil War, where you have some battles happening in the north, as far north as, say, as Gettysburg and other places, and as far south as Georgia, Louisiana, Tennessee, South Carolina. So you have this incredible contrast of climate. In his book, Robert Crick looks at specifically two places in Virginia, Washington D.C. and Richmond, and he kind of takes a look at what the weather was like through the use of primary sources. Second book by Kenneth Knoll, titled Howling Storm, Weather, Climate, and the American Civil War. He looks at the entire country as a whole at the time, where the Confederates might have been dealing with a drought, which prevented them from getting agricultural resources to their troops. The North might have had to deal with a really bad winter, and that kind of hindered things for a little bit. Kind of contrast it on the grander scale. Both of them are very good works, and both of them would be a major part of my research plan. When discussing the Civil War, a much broader sense of topic will allow the historian to kind of combine their resources into creating the full picture for their audience, and it would be a great way to improve the discussion when talking about the more famous and well written about topics of the American Civil War. Thank you.